Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining. I'm Joni Young and I'm going to show you step by step how I painted this cityscape at nighttime with lots of beautiful colorful lights. I'm going to first pour my little cup of tea here and we'll get started and go over these colors that we're using and brushes. So I've got a 4x6 mini canvas, it's stretched. I've got a Filbert brush and I'm going to begin applying the lemon yellow here in the center, leaving a little bit of white. And then I'm going to start to come in with my neon red. Now keep in mind I'm listing all of the colors and brushes below this video in the description, so you can go over them and have a look a little bit later on at the end of this video. So I'm applying the color on the bottom, that's going to be the road or the street, and above, going up on an angle on either side. So it's slowly kind of blending into the color I applied before it. As I add turquoise and magenta, a little bit of phthalo blue, I'm going to make the outer edges darker of this painting, helping to draw our eyes into the center. So that's a really nice color combination. If you mix a bit of turquoise, phthalo blue, and magenta, you'll get a lovely deep purple. I'm going to start creating little lines and chunks. These will be the little shadows that we're going to slowly build up. Taking a little bit more of the neon red, I'm going to apply that in between the purpley blue color and just a little bit around the sun. Now painting skies for me is a really therapeutic, fun process, so keep in mind as we add these buildings a little bit later on, a lot of this sky and pretty pattern and colors may be covered up, but that's okay with me because, like I said, it's all part of the process and it's painting therapy for me, so I thoroughly enjoy myself with color and patterns, light and shadow, and I don't think about worrying too much if I end up covering it up. So this is before I knew I was going to paint a cityscape. I hadn't decided yet what I was going to do. I just knew I wanted to use these colors and I wanted to have a reflective sky below, and so I'm coming in just making an earthy dark shadowy color here for some contrast, and I start out as this being like a landscape with some trees and bushes back there, and then perhaps this was going to be a lake or river with the reflections underneath, but it quickly began to change and you'll see it take shape during the process of this video. So I'm now going to take just neon red and I'm going to apply it right above those dark bushes back there. I'm going to pull and sweep and blend a little bit more down at the bottom. I'm going to clean off my brush in between. And now go over to my small flat brush and I'm going to start adding some buildings. So this is when I decided that these colors would make a great cityscape. Beautiful sunset. And I would incorporate all these colors down below and really play up on the lights and that city nightlife feeling and vibe. So I'm just going to pick up bits of blue, turquoise, magenta, I'm not using any black at all. Maybe at the end I might if I really need to, but for now this is enough contrast for me, and I love using all these colors for my darks. You can get a really dark color by combining the magenta and the sap green together. So some of these buildings have a pointy top to them. That just kind of adds more interest and changes it up so it's not all the same. I don't have any reference photo that I'm looking at for this. I'm kind of just painting by memory of all the images and pictures I've been looking at and how I kind of envision a nightlife cityscape in my mind. I wanted to see what it would look like if I tried doing this. In my other cityscape that I think it was last week that I posted that, that is actually from a few different reference photos, and then I just exaggerated the colors and the shadows a little bit, but this one is just completely from out of my mind. So yeah, this is something that normally it's pretty tough to make up houses and buildings and structures from out of my mind. So I really wanted to try doing this and see how it would actually look, if it would, if I'd be able to pull this off. And so far I'm pretty happy with it. I'm actually having a lot of fun with just using the corner of this flat brush just to add little dots and dabs for my windows and my highlights. And then I can also turn it the other way and use it as a liner brush by pulling up those little skinny lines that I need. And then maybe just adding some turquoise little edges here. Maybe there's some shutters. Now one little cityscape that I'd really like to try, or a few perhaps, is Paris with the Eiffel Tower in the distance. I love that Parisian kind of cityscape look, and I really want to try that. Maybe different European cities and towns and villages. I might do a whole series of them and create a playlist here on YouTube. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. I don't know about you guys, but as I'm painting, I just have so many different ideas. They just start flowing. So if ever you're not really in the mood for painting and you just don't feel like it, make yourself do it anyways, because I guarantee once you pick up that brush and start blending some colors around, your brain just gets, that creative part of your brain just gets switched on, and it'll just take off from there. So here I'm starting to pull straight down for some shadows and exaggerate this and really create some movement. This is all really helping to draw our eye into the center of this painting. You need a focal point, you need a center of interest. It doesn't always have to be in the center of the painting. It could be in any area of the painting, but you kind of want to be able to focus on something in a painting. Sometimes if you have too much going on, and you're probably looking at this like, there's a lot going on here, Joni, but if you soften some certain areas and exaggerate others a little bit more, making one part just the brightest or the darkest, that will really help to do that. And at the same time, you'll still be able to use a lot of color and have some nice highlights and shadows everywhere else around the painting. Now I could make this a little bit more dramatic and have more of a focal point if I created sort of a vignette around the edge, the outer parts of this canvas, if I made them even darker. But I wanted this to have a little bit more life to it and a little bit more color and overall excitement feeling when I look at it. I want to get that nightlife excited kind of a feeling. Ooh, another fun one would be Las Vegas. I really had fun years ago when we went to Las Vegas, and we want to talk about nightlife and city life. That is definitely the place for it. Lots of color and lights and action going on there. So yeah, I could do the strip in Las Vegas in the future and add that to a playlist as well. So I'm just going to keep pulling down here, adding little dots for the cars, the headlights on the cars. and it's really, really easy. As you guys can see, this is so easy to do. It's just lots of lines, lots of color, highlights and shadows. We tend to make things harder and more difficult than they really are. And as long as you just look at what you're painting, think about lights and shadows, color, stick to that. Don't overwhelm yourself or get intimidated by, does this look like a building? Does this look like a window? We overanalyze everything too much to the point where we're trying to become a perfectionist with it, and we're losing sight of what we should be doing, and that's enjoying ourselves and creating a feeling and a mood and just expressing ourselves through art. So over the years, I mean, it's just something that takes a lot of practice. So I paint every day. I used to paint every day because I wanted to get better and better at it, and I wanted to sort of hone my craft. But then I noticed when I took a break, I actually missed it. I felt like I hadn't taken my medicine for a day. So art and painting is definitely like a medicine for me. I feel like I'm not myself if I don't paint. So I really paint every day now because I absolutely love it. I'm excited every day when I wake up. What am I going to paint today? And of course, sharing it all with you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this process. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, and let me know if you guys try this. Share it with me on Instagram, tag me in all your posts, and I'll see you later, guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye.